I don't know how long this camera battery is going to last, so we better just talk. I'm aware that I look a bit like a mad professor today. My hair's just reached that length where it's not cooperating. I'm fixing it next Friday. Next Friday it gets fixed, but until then we're just going to deal with what we've got. It's okay. But welcome back to Dead Good Book Reviews. I am Judith and you are watching another What I'm Reading Right Now video. These are my weekly videos where I talk about what I have been reading, what I'm currently reading, and what I'm going to be reading next. It is Wednesday, the something of February right now, 8th, and I've been reading a bunch of stuff. I kind of fell into a little bit of a slump towards the end of last week, just generally, emotionally. I wasn't feeling super great for various reasons, but I have kind of tried to pull myself back into gear this week, which has involved primarily a lot of rereading, which has been really good fun. So let me talk through what I've read. I can't find my copy of Clash of the Sky Galleons. I took it away with me, but I definitely brought it back. But I don't know where it has gone in the interim. But I did finish Clash of the Sky Galleons by Paul Stewart, illustrated by Chris Riddell, third book in the Quint trilogy of the Edge Chronicles. There's a lot of various series names waffling around in there. I enjoyed it greatly. I thought it was a really good book, and I'll also talk about Beyond the Deep Woods, which I finished earlier this week. This is the first book in the Edge Chronicles that ever came out. This is from I think it might be 1995, but I could be making that up. 1998, there we go. So it's getting on a little bit now, but it's just, it's such a good book. It's so fantastic. I'd kind of forgotten how much it really feels like our main character Twig, who is the protagonist of this trilogy, really feels like just a lot of bad stuff happens to him with no ability to do anything about it, and he kind of gets out of it. It's sort of like a series of bad luck encounters for this main character, but I'm interested to see how the next book feels, whether that still feels like it's keeping happening, because I hadn't noticed that before. I'd not read that with that mindset of kind of character agency, I guess, previously. So all around, a good reread for this series. I then read 3 books in the Old Kingdom series by Garth Nix so that I could catch up with myself, because I'd fallen a little bit behind on my rereads for that series. I have none of them with me because 2 of them I own digitally and 1 of them was a library book, and I'm trying to take my library books back when I go to the gym on Tuesdays, so I never have them to talk about on Wednesdays. But I read, am I going to do this in the right order? I read Clariel, then I read Golden Hand, then I read Terciel and Eleanor. If you don't care about the series, this isn't going to mean too much to you, but essentially, Clariel is a prequel to all the other books. Golden Hand is a sequel to Abhorsen, so you kind of have a trilogy in Lyriel, Abhorsen, Golden Hand, and Terciel and Eleanor is a prequel, but not as much of a prequel as Clariel. It's a prequel to Sabriel. It's a little bit of a confusing thing, and when you write kind of 6 or so books across 20 or so years, you're going to have those confusing moments, I suppose. But I did actually surprisingly enjoy these. I'd read all of them before. I couldn't remember much about what happened in both Clariel and Golden Hand, and what I remembered happening in Terciel and Eleanor was that I didn't like the book, and actually reading it as part of a wider series rather than in isolation with a vague memory of what happened, I enjoyed it much more. I found the romance more compelling. I think I found myself getting less bogged down in trying to remember how the world building worked. If you are a person who likes this series and you haven't already read Terciel and Eleanor, I would say go for it, but do a quick refresh for yourself first, because you will enjoy it more, was my experience. So yeah, I'm really pleased that I'm doing this reread, because it has changed my mind about that final book, which is nice, and does mean that I could feasibly look to one day buying all of the books in the series to own, because I don't own any of them physically. But I'm on a book buying ban, so we're not doing that right now. Because I'm talking about 3 books at once, it kind of takes up much less of the video. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say about the series. I think the only thing to say is that I'm going to read Across the Wall, which is the short story collection, next week. So then I will be, as far as I know, totally done. I need to go through all of the various things that have been published and check that they are all in Across the Wall, Over the Wall, must be Across the Wall. I think that's what it is. I'll put the cover up. You get it. So at the beginning of the week, I kind of prioritized my reading. I knew I wanted to get the next book in the Edge Chronicles done, because I don't want to snowball that series. I knew I wanted to catch up with Old Kingdom, and then I was like, right, what's next? And what was next is my next reread for Overbooked, which is This Savage Song and Our Dark Duet. I finished This Savage Song today. I read this, I've probably read it twice, and I think I read it a very, very long time ago. I can't remember when I bought these. I really should make a tag things with when I've got them so I can remember. I think my history with it is that I read book 1, spent ages waiting to read book 2, reread book 1, read book 2, and then it was now. So I do need to read book 2 again. My memory of it is that book 2 made book 1 less good for me, but I think because I'm slightly out of that YA mindset, I might actually enjoy these more as a whole. I don't know. I'll have to read book 2 and find out, essentially. But this is a world in which the city of Verity, where our characters live, is a place where monsters have become real, kind of born out of the bad deeds of people, is probably the best way to describe it. It's a little bit complicated, and the book kind of just goes, just get on with it. Don't worry, don't think about it too hard, just go. Our main characters are Kate, who is the daughter of a kind of almost gang boss running the city, and August, who is himself a monster, but of a specific kind, and they end up meeting, and it's not a romance, and I think that's what bothered me about it when I read it when I was reading a lot of YA, is that I was like, I'd really like this to be a romance, but now that I'm older, I'm like, okay, no, I can appreciate this for what it is. So yeah, I'm interested to read book 2 and see how I feel about it, and obviously there will be a full review in a few weeks. Other things I'm in the middle of, I'm only in the middle of Monsters We Defy, which I still am. I've just not prioritised this for this week. If I get through almost everything else, if I get through a couple more books, I will be finishing them this week, but it's an ambitious TBR for this month, so I'm not prioritising it, but I'm keeping it on my currently reading shelf so that I don't forget to finish it. And then I'm also listening to Bloodmarked by Tracy Dion, the sequel to Legendborn, which might be somewhere behind me, but honestly I don't know. I am liking it so far. I don't think audiobook was the right way to go for me necessarily, but I'm in that I've started so I'll finish kind of mode right now, just because the narrator is not doing a great, I want to say Scottish accent, but the fact that I can't tell you for certain is not. Anyway, trying to enjoy it despite that, and that's not the best way of reading something, so I keep finding myself reaching for music when I go out for walks rather than my audiobook, which might mean it's time to switch the book. I'll get back to you on that when I decide. But that's kind of my bonus thrown in book at the moment because I didn't have an audiobook for something that was on my TBR currently. The rest of this week will include finishing Animorphs 48, which I didn't start last week because I haven't been home long enough to read Animorphs. I can only read Animorphs at my laptop with some notes open, so it just doesn't happen very often. I have a little bit of Brandon Sanderson to read, and I have Infinity Gate. This is kind of my hefty one that I really hope I get done. I think it's reasonably large font. We might be okay. A thrilling tale set in the multiverse, a tale of humanity's expansion across millions of dimensions and the AI technology that might see it all come to an end. I don't know if my brain's going to want sci-fi right now. We're going to try it and see. In fact, we're going to try it and see if I finish our Dark Duet. This is what's next. What is this mood reading of which you speak? Looking into next week, I already talked about continuing on with Across the Wall for my Old Kingdom read-along. Read through. I'm not reading it with anyone else, I'm just doing it for me. And then Storm Chaser is my Edge Chronicles read for next week. Twig Trilogy continues. I'm keeping going with V.E. Schwab for Overbooked, so I have my first book in the Shades of Magic, which I'll be rereading, which I'm really looking forward to. It's one of my favourite series. I hope it stays one of my favourite series. Always the risk with a reread, but we'll see. I have 2 new releases that I'm getting to review copies. I have Scarlet by Genevieve Cogman, which is a Scarlet Pimpernel retelling reimagining. And then I also have The Adventures of Amina El Sarafi, which I might put into 2 weeks. But we'll see how we go. I'm excited to get to it. I'm not doing anything next weekend. It'll be fine. And lastly, I will be rereading The Unbroken to get ready to read The Faithless, which is coming up very, very soon, and I have a review copy of it and I really want to read it, so we're going to prioritise that. I need to do some tweaking of the reading for next week and get everything aligned, which I might do during tonight's Patreon live stream. If you missed it, patrons, that will be up somewhere. Since last time we spoke, I've added nothing to my TBR. Not one book has come in, which is great. It's a really good thing. I'm trying to read through everything, and I think adding to my TBR at the moment just feels stressful. It's not the nice acquisition of a new book. It's the stress of knowing I have so much more to read. I think partly because I'm not reading many owned TBR books this month, so that list is just growing based on that TBR. So all good, nothing to talk about there. And also new releases. I don't think I have anything to talk about there either. So that's what we have. I should say I have actually technically purchased a book, but it's a book I pre-ordered a very long time ago, and I'll show it you when it comes in, so don't worry about it, it's fine. I don't think I have anything else to talk to you about, really, beyond the fact that I went to a concert on Friday and it was absolutely amazing and I had the best time and 100% loved it, had a great time. Sammy Rhea and the Friends, if you can go and see them, they put on a great show. It's fantastic. You will see me wearing the show's t-shirt at the point where it's warm enough to wear t-shirts in my office again, which will be a couple of weeks, I think. It's getting a little bit warmer in the air. But if you want to hear more about that, that will be in my Patreon newsletter, which is coming out in a couple of weeks. So, oh wait, not even a couple of weeks, it might be next week. About the 15th, that newsletter will be out. How exciting. What have you been reading? What have you been up to? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're down there commenting, if you haven't already, please do subscribe. It makes me feel loved and appreciated. You can also follow me on social media. Come hang out on Discord where we have chill chats about books. I'd like to say an enormous thank you to all the ghosts who haunt me over on Patreon. They support the channel and in return get early access to videos, bonus content, and live streams, and my newsletter. I've added another thing. How exciting. If you would like to find out more and join their number, that's linked in the description as well. Thank you so much for watching. That's all from me, and I will see you in the next one. There's gonna be some bloopers now. Yeah, if you're gonna read Tertial and Eleanor, so once that was done, I kind of started my week by... Bog off. No, I'm not giving you a cuddle right now. Yeah, it's a microphone. Go to your bed. Ah! Down. Go to your bed. I'm really sorry. My camera battery's also going to die. Wait, she's moving. She's moving. She's going. It's because she can smell the apple I'm going to eat after this video. Luna. Good girl. Well done. Thank you. Oh, you are precious indeed.